Oh, here we are, folks, and today is the quarterfinals. Is that how it works? No. Yeah, 8 boats, quarterfinals. Here's the quarterfinals of the Detroit Cup International Match Race. As you can see, there is not much going on. This is what we've had for 3 days, but there's a little bit more gradient from the north, so it's not going to fill in the same way as before. We believe. What do you think? No? We believe it should fill in by 11:30. I mean, you can see the flags going. Problem is we're underneath all these houses, buildings, and it's going to get super fluky at the top mark here. So if there's not enough breeze, it just won't be fair. These guys know the conditions. Marsh Everingham certainly knows them, and we'll see what happens. But while we wait, we got Laurie Jury over here. How you doing, bro?
Good.
Laurie, an Auckland boy.
Yep.
And Laurie, you came all over here. Did you do all 3 events?
Yeah.
You did. And how'd you do in the Knickerbocker?
Not that flash. We missed out in top 6 for 1 point. So
yeah.
Ended up 9th in countback.
How about the Chicago event?
Same thing. Missed out in top 8 by 1 point. Ended up 9th again.
And yet, here you go. You made top 8.
Yeah.
In fact, you made top 6 here at the Detroit Cup.
Yeah.
Which is an accomplishment. I mean, you got great sailors here, right?
Oh yeah, it's awesome. You know, for us to be sailing today is just good.
Now you were here last year, correct?
Nah.
You weren't. Okay. What do you think of sailing on the river?
It's pretty good. It's actually quite similar to Auckland. You know, we sail straight out of the squadron in Auckland, and it's we get probably about a similar amount of tide. You know, obviously change directions though, but so it makes it pretty similar back home.
Yeah.
But breeze has been fantastic. You know, last 2 days they haven't even moved the mark.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
Through the racing.
We'll see if that happens today.
Yeah.
Talk about this one. You know, obviously, racing is in Kiwi blood now over the past 20 years, and you know, there's no one putting out more pro sailors and top match racers than New Zealand. Why?
It's real intense in New Zealand. You know, it's I think actually a huge part of it's the way the squadron, the yacht squadron in New Zealand set up. You know, they run a real good program, real good youth program there. You know, they've got 10 L86s, which is a new women's Olympic class, and the kids, you know, you jump into the boats when you're 16 and you sail them every weekend until you're 20. You know, you're going to turn out some good sailors, and it just becomes a way of life. And you come out of that when you're 20. And, you know, you've sailed every weekend for the last 4 years. You kind of, what do you do on the weekends? You just keep sailing, and that's what happens, you know. And I think it's ridiculous. You look at the America's Cup and the guys, the New Zealand, there's a shitload of New Zealanders there.
Sure.
But if you said everyone here that's done the youth program put up their hand, there's a shitload of guys that done the youth program. It's
really?
Just ridiculous, you know.
So really, one club making that much of a difference.
It is basically. Yeah.
Wow.
Just pumping out sailors. Yeah.
So you know, take note, folks. You can make that much of a difference, as Bayview's proved right here. Because frankly, 5 years ago, there was almost no match racing on the Great Lakes, at least that I could see, you know. And now, in part because of Bayview, in part because of the Chicago Match Race Center, the guys at Rochester, it seems like it's really growing now.
Oh, yeah. What you guys have done here is massive. You know, 3 events, grade 2s, and the setup you got here is great, but the setup in Chicago is just amazing.
Yeah.
You know, Knickerbocker, it's just, I mean, New Zealand is going to have to step up the game big time to keep up with you guys.
All right.
So.
Well, what about one more question? You know, let's talk about the America's Cup with all these Kiwi teams, and you know, BMW is 90% Kiwi, Alingi's 90% Kiwi. Is there still pride in those guys, or is it all ETNZ?
Oh yeah, a little bit. I mean, obviously everyone's really behind Team Z the whole time.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, that's where it's at. And I think a lot of the general public are maybe even a little bit anti the Oracle and Alingi guys, especially Alingi. You know, but the sailors, the sailors, fucking good on them, you know. All the sailors, you know, they're right behind Oracle and Alingi as well. You know, they're just, you know, the other guys are sailors and they're doing the best they can, and it's got to go where the money is, I guess. Yeah.
Well, that's what it's about, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is there? You think there's any national consensus on who's the villain right now? I mean, obviously now we're two and a half years into the court battle, and who knows what's going to happen in February. And
I mean, I don't really know that much, but probably from talking to the guys, everyone's sort of saying, you know, everyone thinks that Alingi's sort of fucking fucked it up more than Oracle, you know. And you know, it used to be Russell was the big bad boy, but I think everyone's sort of changed their minds a little bit, and Brad's really become the big bad boy, you know, and everyone hates him. And Russell, they're like, oh, you know, he's just a pro yachty, and that's what he does, you know.
All right, Laurie, who are your crew here this weekend?
I've got Andrew Phillips and Riso Kane. We've got Logan Fraser, who's just come to do some watching, a bit of coaching.
And he sails with you most of the time, when you're on bigger boats.
Yeah, last 2 events and all the bigger boats and stuff. So
great. Well, good luck today, and
Cheers,
we'll
mate.
certainly catch up with you later in the weekend.
Yeah, sounds great.
Thanks, brother.
Cheers, man.